Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today's update is absolutely massive. If you're holding Iraqi dinar, you'll want to stay till the very end. We have reached a breaking point with the Iraqi dinar in 2025, and for the first time ever, the official rules for how your holdings can be exchanged have been fully revealed. This isn't speculation or rumor. It's structured, it's confirmed, and if you act smart and stay informed, it could change everything. So keep watching because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's happening, why it matters, and how you can prepare for what's next. We begin our story with the official announcement. Earlier this week, an authoritative government publication laid out the final decree that the central banking system will use to exchange Iraqi dinar holdings. This marks an unprecedented moment. The currency's revaluation process is no longer a distant hope, but now a tangible pathway. According to the decree, the rules include the exchange rate methodology, who will be authorized to handle the transactions, and what documentation will be required from holders like you. Gone are the vague leaks and partial statements. What we have now is firm, formal, and actionable. Some insiders suggest the rate aligns closely with what many in the community have long anticipated. That means we're no longer in waiting and watching mode. This is the real deal. Let's break down the core elements of the announcement. First, the official exchange rate mechanics. While the public communique stops short of publishing the final number, the rules state that the rate will be applied uniformly across approved channels, according to verified status of the holder. What that means: if you're properly documented and your holdings are recognized, you'll be processed at the official rate rather than whatever speculative figure has floated around. Next, the authorized exchange locations: only banks and financial institutions approved by the central authority will be permitted to carry out the process. This is critical because it shuts down unverified dealers, unofficial brokers, and internet schemes. Third, transaction limits are set. You will see clear thresholds for how much dinar you can exchange in a given period, and these vary according to the type of holder, individual versus institution, and level of verification. Lastly, the documentation requirement: valid ID, proof of ownership, purchase receipts, or bank statements all must be submitted before your exchange will be cleared. Now, let's talk about why this announcement matters so much. For years, the dinar holding community has been waiting for official clarity. We've seen rumors, promise after promise, flip-flopping statements, but nothing concrete. Now, with the rules published, there is finally structure. That means the government is serious and preparations are underway. Banks and institutions know the game plan. Verified holders now have a roadmap. The uncertainty that has hung over the process is giving way to a known protocol. When that happens, markets respond, confidence builds. The dinar's potential value starts to become more tangible. It does not guarantee instant windfalls, but it means you're no longer in limbo. You now know what steps to take and when. That alone is a game changer. Let's talk numbers. While the official document stops just short of declaring a final exchange rate, multiple insider sources suggest that the rate for properly verified holders will be significantly higher than what has been trading on the open market. Figures being mentioned are in the realm of 370 to 410 dinar per US dollar, though the exact rate may vary due to internal assessments, liquidity constraints, and institutions involved. If true, this is very meaningful because many holders have been referencing market numbers far below that. The official alignment means your holdings could be processed at a rate far superior to what you may have anticipated. That said, always remember, until the first batch of exchanges gets processed, some details may still be refined. But the point remains: the announced framework signals that the value conversation has shifted. Next, we turn to who can exchange. According to the published rules, the system distinguishes between three primary categories: individual verified holders, institutional or corporate holders, and banks, authorized dealers. For individuals, you must have purchased dinar legally through authorized channels and be able to show valid proof of that purchase. For institutions, there is a separate mechanism: typically involving business documentation, corporate accounts, and auditing trails. For banks and authorized dealers, these are the only entities permitted to process bulk exchanges and are tightly regulated. The message is very clear: your holdings must be in the right hands, and the process must go through right channels. If your dinar sits in a non-verified account or with an unapproved dealer, risk of exclusion is real. Let's walk through the transaction process as defined in the decree. Step 1. Verification. You bring your government ID and proof of dinar ownership, receipt, bank statement, documented chain of custody. Step 2. Submission at the approved bank or digital portal designated by the central bank system. Step 3. Rate application. The institution applies the official rate based on your verified status. Step 4. Fund transfer. Your converted funds are deposited in your designated bank account or a secured digital wallet as permitted under the rules. It's a tight, structured sequence. This is not the Wild West. It's designed to protect both holders and the broader currency system by ensuring verification, documentation, and accountability. Timing is critically important here. According to the decree, the approved institutions are expected to be fully operational by mid-November 2025. From that point, verified exchanges will begin rolling out. Then, in December 2025, a wider rollout is anticipated once systems are tested and initial batches are processed. What this means for you: now is the time to prepare your paperwork, get your holdings in order, double-check your purchase documentation, and list the approved banks. Waiting until the system is live might still work, but being ready before launch gives you an advantage. And prepare to act. Because once the launch window opens, the system will follow the timeline set by the rules. The good news is this announcement significantly reduces one of the greatest risks dinar holders have faced: uncertainty. When you know the rules, you can plan. Knowing the timeline gives you focus. Knowing your documentation must be in order means you can act proactively. With these elements in place, the broader forces start to move. Global banks and investors see formal regulation, the currency starts to gain credibility, and speculative pressure may shift. This doesn't mean instant riches overnight, but it does mean the structural foundations are now shifting in favor of holders who are prepared and verified. However, with opportunity comes caution. The rules clearly state that only authorized banks and institutions are permitted to handle exchanges. That means any private dealer, online scheme, or exclusive early access offer that claims they can process exchange outside of the official system is almost certainly a scam. We've seen fake exchange centers and offers in previous years. This time, the message is unambiguous. Don't trust unverified channels. Use only official banks listed by the central authority, and demand documentation of their approval. The system being set up is meant to safeguard currency integrity and likewise protect legitimate holders from malicious actors. Next, we look at the broader economic implications. With the structured exchange process, the currency system within Iraq is set to stabilize rather than be thrown into chaotic speculation. When the rules are clear and institutions are regulated, global confidence increases. International banks and finance institutions may take the dinar more seriously as part of Iraq's economic system. That in turn can lead to more liquidity, broader market access, and potentially a stronger position for the dinar in international trade. Transforming from a sideline currency into a recognized, regulated instrument is a big leap. For you as a holder, this means you're part of something bigger than your individual position. You're in a system that's shifting. Another dimension: investor preparedness. By announcing the rules ahead of full rollout, the government is giving holders time to ready themselves. That means you're not being blindsided. Holders now have weeks to compile their proof of holdings, verify their documentation, ensure they're working with the right bank, and familiarize themselves with the steps. That kind of lead time is rare in currency events. It means you can act intentionally rather than reactively. That advantage matters because once the system goes live, delays, corrections, and fraud mitigation may mean you'll prefer to be first in line. Let's talk about practical steps you should take right now as a dinar holder. First, compile your documentation. Gather purchase receipts, bank statements, chain of custody documentation, and any legal proof that your dinar was acquired through authorized channels. Second, identify which banks in your region are approved by the central authority to handle dinar exchange. Contact them, ask questions, verify their status. Third, make sure your government ID is valid, your bank accounts are active, and any regulatory requirements for foreign currency exchange in your jurisdiction are satisfied. Fourth, stay vigilant. Only rely on official communications from the government, central bank, and verified financial media. If someone offers early access exchange outside the approved list, walk away. Now, let's update the community on what this means in terms of milestones. As of today in 2025, the announcement has triggered a shift from waiting for revaluation to preparing for execution. The system has moved from concept to imminent rollout. Mid-November is expected to be the live date for verified exchanges. That's just weeks away. December will mark the broader access window once systems are stress tested. It's important to keep track of that timeline because once banks are live, delays can cost you time, and preparation now will give you swift passage once the gates open. We must also reflect on the historical context. Ever since the dinar holding community began anticipating a revaluation, speculation, rumors, and unofficial leaks have dominated discussion, but structure and clarity were missing. That's now changed. The central bank's decree shifts the focus from if to when and how. This is a historic moment for dinar holders because you aren't just hoping for a revaluation, you now have a formal process to follow. The path ahead is clearer. The means to complete the process is defined, and that changes everything on a psychological and structural level. Another key point, the announcement increases transparency, and transparency builds trust. When holders know the rules, banks know the rules, and the government sets the rules, the entire system becomes less vulnerable to manipulation, fraud, and misdirection. For the dinar community, this means you're operating in a legitimate ecosystem. That strengthens your position, that improves your odds. And beyond you individually, it strengthens the dinar's standing in global finance. For a currency to move from niche status to credible participant, this kind of structure is essential. But we must be realistic too. While this announcement is tremendously positive, it's not an instant payday. There are still variables. We still await final confirmation of the exact rate, operational details from each bank, and the first conversions to execute. There may be delays or corrections. Some banks may face logistic or regulatory hurdles. Holders who haven't completed verification may have to wait for the broader rollout in December. So yes, act with urgency, but also with diligence. Do the work now so you'll be ready when the system opens. Let's move to a scenario projection. Suppose you're a fully verified holder who has prepared your documentation ahead of time. In mid-November, when approved banks go live, you submit your holdings, the official rate is applied, and your funds are deposited in your account. That means you could convert your dinar holdings under structured conditions, avoiding speculation, fraud risk, and process ambiguity. You've effectively timed your preparation to coincide with the system's launch. In contrast, imagine being unverified, working with an unapproved dealer, or being late in submitting. You face delays, higher risk, potential exclusion, and maybe a lesser rate. The difference is stark. That's why this window of preparation is critical. Let's also examine what this means for the broader dinar holding community. People who've been sitting on holdings for years, maybe decades, can finally see a path forward. The significance here isn't just about one person's exchange, it's about the wider conversion event. When thousands of verified holders convert their dinar under the official system, the movement itself sends a signal to global markets. This currency is moving. As that happens, momentum builds. That momentum can influence how banks, investors, and governments observe Iraq's economy and may shift perceptions of risk and value surrounding the dinar. Put simply, your individual exchange is part of a larger ecosystem. Now, let's address the scam risk in more detail because it's too important to skip. The rules explicitly bind exchanges to approved banks and institutions. That means any platform or individual claiming to facilitate special early access, higher than official rates, or unofficial bulk conversions is acting outside the established framework. Historically, the dinar space has been flooded with such claims. With the new decree, the message is plain: they are not authorized. So, your best protection is to go through proper verification, ask your bank for proof of approval, record all correspondence, and avoid anyone who pressures you to act before the official process. When the system is live, you'll feel the difference in clarity and legitimacy. Another important layer: the timing of this announcement aligns with Iraq's broader fiscal and economic calendar. With the formal rollout slated for November and December 2025, it intersects with the country's budget, planning for 2026 potential digital currency advances, and international investment interest. That means this is more than just an isolated currency exchange, it's part of a bigger structural shift in Iraq's financial system. For holders, that's a positive backdrop. It means your holdings are not just being exchanged, they're part of a broader transformation of financial architecture, and that kind of context can support stronger outcomes. So here is your actionable checklist once again. Simplified. 1. Verify your holdings. 2. Prepare your ID and proof of purchase documentation. 3. Identify your approved bank and open or confirm your account is ready for funds deposit. 4. Stay updated on launch timing and operational bulletins from the central authority. 5. Avoid unverified channels and too good to be true offers. 6. Be ready to act in mid-November when the system opens for verified holders, and monitor December rollout phase for broader access. If you do all these, you'll be in the best possible position to take advantage of this moment. Now, let's address a few common questions holders are asking. What if I purchased dinar through a group, club, or third-party dealer that wasn't officially authorized? The answer: you may still have a path, but you'll need to ensure you can document chain of custody and verify that your purchase meets the legal requirements. The approved banks will decide on a case-by-case basis how to treat such holdings. What if I'm living abroad? You'll need to check local regulations around foreign currency import, export, cross-border transfers, and bank compliance in your country. What about holdings still in physical form, in storage, or under someone else's name? Make sure you have documented ownership and legal rights. These are the technical details that your bank will scrutinize. Let's shift and think about the long-term implications. If the system works smoothly and transparent, exchanges are processed at official rates, then the dinar could gain stronger credibility internationally. That means over time it may be more widely held, more actively traded, and perhaps more stable in value. For verified holders who act now, you're positioning yourself not just for the immediate exchange event, but for future structural benefit. In that sense, this isn't just a transaction, it's a strategic financial move. Remember, the difference between panic and preparation is enormous. Being ready places you ahead. Before we wrap, I want to emphasize this. If you're hearing from any source that you can get special access or a preferential rate outside of the official system, be extremely skeptical. Enforcement of these rules will likely be strict because the government is signaling that it will regulate, monitor, and enforce compliance. Being out of compliance means your holdings might not be eligible, or you could be subject to delays, lower rates, or worse. So, don't gamble, use the official system, be patient, be ready. In summary, this announcement from the government marks a turning point. The rules for exchanging Iraqi dinar holdings have been revealed. Only authorized banks will handle the process. Verification is mandatory. Rate guidance is given. Timing is set mid-November onward. This isn't a distant promise, it's now a roadmap. If you've held your dinar for years, now is the moment to prepare. Gather your documentation, confirm your bank, avoid unofficial channels, and be ready when the system goes live. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found this update helpful, please hit like, share with others in the community, and subscribe if you haven't already because updates like this are coming fast and you don't want to miss a single one. Stay safe, stay smart, and stay ready. This could be one of the most important moments in your dinar holding journey. I'll see you in the next video.